The Lisbon Treaty is a step moving powers from voters to the bureaucrats. Because the core in democracy, that's that you can go for elections, have a new majority, and then a new law and a new government. That's what you can go for in elections. And then after 5 years or 10 years or 50 years, you can say, now we want to get rid of our government and we want to get rid of this law and this law and this law because they do not work good enough. Then you vote a different majority and you have a new law and a new government. This is the core in democracy. This core doesn't exist in the Lisbon Treaty. There you can still go for elections, national elections every 4 years or so, and European elections every 5 years, but you can't amend the laws. You can't change the laws. They are only possible to amend in a very complicated way. Because in the EU, we have the same organs as you have under the Irish constitution, a Dáil, a parliament. We have a parliament, but in the European Union, the parliament is not a parliament, but a council. Then we have a council, which is not a council, but a parliament. And a commission, which is not a commission, but a government. And a court, which is not a court, but a constitution builder. This is the roles of the institutions in the EU. We have, to begin, a commission. One from each member state. McCreevy, Charlie from Ireland. I know all of your Irish commissioners, not bad. Good to represent Irish interests in Brussels. But they are non-elected. All of them are non-elected. They are appointed from the shifting governments, but they are non-elected. And they are the only ones who can propose a law or an amendment to an existing law. No one else but the 27 in Brussels, the non-elected, has the possibility to propose a law. There's no place in the world having this system where non-elected have a monopoly to propose laws. Then I said that the council is a parliament. Why? Because the council take the decisions on the laws in a system which is called qualified majority voting. That's a normal rule. And then the Irish minister has 7 votes, the German minister 29, the British minister 29, the Swedish 10. There are 345 votes in total, and you need 255 votes to have the qualified majority. This system of lawmaking is very unknown because the laws are in real terms decided in 300 secret working groups with civil servants legislating behind closed doors in Brussels. Then there's a top of the iceberg, 15% of the laws which comes in the council or minister, where you may see sometime an Irish minister on television, and then he can have taken part in the negotiations, but most ministers will not even know that Ireland has 7 votes or Sweden 10 votes because they never vote. They very seldom vote, and if they vote, they have civil servants to count, so they don't know how the votes are going on. Everyone knows how a vote is in the Dáil, where you pass a law in the Dáil. But here in Brussels, the laws are passed by civil servants in working groups. And they are prepared in 3,000 other secret working groups under the European Commission in Brussels, where members of parliament have no access, and the public has no access as well. We don't even know who advised them in these working groups until now. Then we have the parliament, the European Parliament, where you can go for elections, but the members of the parliament can amend nothing. They can only propose amendments to the non-elected. And then it's the non-elected who decide whether they want to support an amendment from the European Parliament or not. The European Parliament has gained real influence in the European Union over the years. The European Parliament decides more on your daily life than the Dáil today. The European Parliament have gained a real influence, but that is as lobbyists in Brussels, walking around, lobbying the Commissioner, trying to influence those who are in Brussels. It's not a legislative function, which is in the Dáil. And that's why we talk about a democratic deficit. Every time you move a decision from the member states to Brussels, you do not only centralize, you also take away the decisions from the voters and move them to the civil servants. You democratize the decision-making process. And the Lisbon Treaty, the core in that, that's to take the power away from you, to de-empower you, and empower the ministers and the civil servants. And therefore it's very easy to understand that ministers and civil servants in Europe, they like this treaty, and voters everywhere, they dislike this treaty. In France, 55% voted no. In the Netherlands, 62% voted no. And in Ireland, 53% voted no. And now we have the rerun, and we don't know yet how many will vote no for this text. But we know there's nothing in it for voters. For voters, it's a very bad treaty. And it could easily be changed with a transparency principle where all negotiations would be put in the public, with a democracy principle where all laws will have to be passed in the Dáil by your representatives or in the European Parliament, or both, but where you, for every law, will have a majority in the Parliament, you can change on next polling day, so that the power of all laws you have to obey can be amended and changed by you, the voters. This is the core, and it's not something I have invented. It's an idea 2,500 years ago, invented in the old Greece, called democracy. Nothing more, nothing less.